My name is Rose. And as I sit here and tell you my story, I would like to begin by saying that 3.5 years ago, I received my kidney transplant. Today, I am 77 years old. So I was 73 when I received the transplant. I begin with that, hopefully to erase this idea, oh, you're too old to get a transplant. Or you say to yourself, I'm too old, I'm in my 70s. And that was not true. What is important is your health. And the doctors explained that to me quite well. Your body has to be able to receive the kidney and treat it well. Okay. I would say that I am doing exceptionally well. Last year, 2.5 years after my kidney transplant, I went to Florida for a few weeks and I bicycled 153 miles. This year, I just returned from Florida and I biked 147. So I decreased by a few miles. I share that with you because I want you to know how wonderful I feel. I am active. I have my life back. Now, let me tell you about my journey. I was an educator for 40 years, 20 years as a teacher, 20 years as an administrator. My last 14 years, I was the principal of a middle school with 850 adolescents. That should get your attention. Anyway, I decided to retire. And I wasn't sure, what do you do in the fall? I always go back to school, and did I retire too soon? And then I got in the mode and I said to myself, Rose, enjoy your life. You can go up north, the beautiful fall colors, and you can bike and do all these things. So mentally I was ready. And then I had an appointment with my U of M doctor for my annual checkup. And he always called me his healthiest patient. And so during the exam, he felt something between my rib cages. He says, Rose, you're in such good health. He said, I feel something and I want to get a picture of it. So he said, actually, I think it's just your bowels moving through your system. So I said, okay, doctor. I was sitting then a couple of days after I had that done, and I was sitting having coffee on my balcony, and I received a call from my doctor, and he said, Rose, we found out you have cysts on your liver and on your kidneys. And I said, well, how do we make those go away? Then he went on to say that was called polycystic kidney disease. However, he said, I wouldn't worry much about it because, first of all, your age. Usually people with this condition, it hits them in their 30s and 40s. And so I was like, I don't, in my 60s, whatever. So he said, all right. And he set me up with a nephrologist. And my journey began. Even though the medical people at the time thought I would never need a transplant because I had such a weak form of polycystic kidney disease. However, as time went on, I had what they called 2 medical interruptions, which caused my polycystic kidney disease to progress to the point that my nephrologist said, Rose, it's time, we're going to have to put you on the transplant list. I was shocked and I was scared. I never had anything really wrong with me, and I didn't know what was happening to me. So I went through tests and meetings and all of those things, but I qualified to be on the transplant list. My 2 nieces One, Sally is her name, and the other is Muffy for Maureen. They're my sister's children. They said, Aunt Rose, don't worry. We're gonna get tested. I'm sure we're a match, and things will happen. So I kind of relaxed a bit, and Sally went first and continued to keep me informed on the process that goes on if you want to be a donor. And she said, we're a match, it's a go. And then in the end, she called me and said, I can't do it. She couldn't go through the surgery. But she said, Muffy, she's the healthiest of all of us. She wants to give you your kidney. So I said, oh, okay. They were very cautious as Muffy went through the different stages of testing to see if she could be a donor. They didn't tell me too much because they didn't want my hopes to get up and then boom. So I was feeling quite good. And Muffy called me and said, Aunt Rose, everything looks fine. I've had my last meeting with the doctors, except they said that my white cell count was off. And they really wanted to find out what was causing that. And I said, okay, Muffy. And we really didn't think it was anything. And so then I got the call from Muffy. And in about, I don't know how many words she used, through her tears, told me, Aunt Rose, I can't give you my kidney. They found that I had multiple myeloma. That is cancer of the blood. So we go two ways here. Everyone in the family was devastated. Muffy had no idea she had that. So that's what we dealt with. Multiple myeloma is not curable, but it's treatable. The beauty in this part of the story is because it was discovered in Muffy in such an early stage of her life, her late 40s, she has years and years and years tagged on to her life for that. She receives treatment, and as I speak today, she's doing beautifully. Okay, now back to no donor. My nieces said, don't worry, we're going to create a web page for you. In fact, they did, and it was Save Our Aunt Rose. And there were a lot of responses I heard from U of M. I don't know who, but none matched me. So I really kind of got down. And Muffy said to me at one of my appointments, Rose, don't get down. I said, Muff, everyone's, tried to do what they can. And if I have to go on dialysis, I go on dialysis. She said, well, there's one person out there that is still interested. And I can't tell you who it is. And she's not family, but I'm not going to tell you anymore. Well, then as time went on, this person, her name is Bev, and you will hear from Bev soon. She worked with Muffy and for many years. And that's how she became aware of what was going on with me. And when Bev talks, she'll tell you more of how she got motivated to be that donor. So Bev went through all the tests, and right to the end, everything's perfect, but we weren't a match. And this, I am trying very hard to get this out to people. There's the paired kidney donation program. The big part of that is someone wants to give you a kidney, but your blood type doesn't match, but they qualify for a donor. You go into a pool and throughout the country, and they try to match up. So anyway, in about 4 weeks, we found out they found a match. In the end, it ended up being 6 different people. It was on October 31st. My kidney came from someone in, I believe, California. Down south, I think Bev's kidney went, and then on the East Coast, there was someone else. I had my kidney transplant, and I said to God, if you get me through this, I want to help others in any way I can. So this is one way I am trying to reach out and give all of you hope. be as healthy as you can, and life does go on. Now I think you're going to hear from a person that I talked about, Bev, who is, in my mind, the most loving, unselfish person I have known in my lifetime. Thank you.
Ms. Bev. And as you heard from Rose, I decided to donate for her. It all came about when Muffy was going through the tests. And when she found out she had multiple myeloma, I knew what her fight was going to be, and it was going to be a hard fight. I knew she had to go through chemo, bone marrow transplant, and I knew she needed all the strength to, to worry about herself and not her aunt. So what I did was, because of the fact that my friend had Hodgkin's 3 times and went through treatment, and I know how hard it is to go through treatment for cancer. So I just went online and at the U of M and filled out the application and started with that. And I went in for testing, and we were going through tests, and Muffy and I were checking out the results. Every time that I got a result from a test back, and we were celebrating because I passed almost every single test, as they came in. But also, I could tell that it was helping with Muffy. And also, as Rose mentioned, she was getting down, and, Muffy asked me, should I tell her? Should I tell her? I said, well, yeah, of course, tell her. I mean, she needs to keep her spirits up, and so far so good. And so at the last few tests, we got back, one of the doctors that had looked at the test said that all my organs were in remarkable condition, which was yay. So Muffy was all excited. I was all excited. We went in. I had my daughter help me through. She's on the transplant team. She's a surgical tech. So of course she was by my side, and she was explaining to me everything that was going to happen and everything that was going on. And I didn't have any fear of doing it. I was completely okay with everything. I don't think I've ever once was second guessing myself, or I just knew it was right. And that's how I felt, that nothing was going to go wrong. Everything was going to be just fine, and I was going to be fine. And my husband was worried, of course. My daughter wasn't worried. She was fine. And I think with that, and knowing how much she knows, that I felt a lot more comfortable and at ease. Went through the surgery fine. And Rose and I became really close. We called during our healing process, and we would share our ups and downs, and what we've saw, or not felt, or whatever. And a lot of our symptoms, or a lot of our aches and pains, or what we noticed were very similar. I noticed that we would, I'd tell her my plan, that because I went to work every other day, and I told her, I said, with my energy level, it went down, but I was also going through menopause. So, it was, not everybody gets the fatigue, but I did. And her and I would, compare notes, and it was really nice. I back to work full time, don't feel any different than I did before. Except for, I'm really grateful that I could help out. And then with this paired program, since I didn't match Rose, I knew I wasn't going to match her. I went on the paired program, and they found a recipient for me, and then the person who was going to donate for them found a recipient. There was 6 of us involved, 3 donors and 3 recipients, and it was pretty cool going through all that. It was just, Rose had her kidney Halloween. I went in the next day, and then the person that received mine was the day after that. I mean, so it was like boom, 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 and it was pretty cool. We haven't been able to get together with all of the groups that were the 2 groups that were involved in it, but some people don't want to, some people do, but it's up to them. But anyways, I've never really had any problems during the whole time of going through the testing. And I guess what it really helped me is that I felt really, really good about helping someone out. I never met Rose. I never knew her prior to this. And I was helping 2 people. I was helping Muffy to concentrate on herself, and I was helping Rose. And the feeling of being able to do that is overwhelming, in a very, very good sense. I always say, if I could do it again, I wouldn't hesitate. But you're only born with 2 kidneys, so I only can give up 1. But if I grow another one, I'll be happy to donate that.
And so, as I am on my mission to help in some way others, I suggest to you that U of M has a big operation. This is called peer mentoring. I am a peer mentor for the Kidney Foundation through U of M. And I know that I would have given anything to be able to talk to someone that had gone through it, is going through it, and that's what I'm doing now. So I strongly urge you to contact U of M. There's a mobile app, but you can call them and say, I'm interested in peer mentoring, and please put me in touch with someone. Good luck.